Welcome to PrepZone Show 2022, presented by Bevill State. I'm joined by my co-host, Zach McCullar. Another great week of football in some aspects.
Some aspects
not so great.
Not so great.
We didn't have a whole lot of high school games last week.
We didn't really.
We didn't have many good high school games either.
No. Well, we had some close games, but
Good Hope.
Yeah, we had
Addison
two close games. That was a really good game.
Overtime.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump in, talk about our players of the week.
Got multiple this week again.
Need to add an S there. Players. Yeah, exactly. So offensively was Kel Tittle, Lynn, no surprise, 250 yards, 5 touchdowns. They blew out Tarrant. Kind of one of those games we're talking about.
Everybody but Talladega County Central blows out Tarrant.
I think, Tarrant won a game this year.
They beat Talladega County Central. Good for Tarrant, yeah.
That tells you all you need to know about Talladega County Central, who I saw last week.
You did? Yeah, you were in some of them, weren't you?
Yeah, I think it was 54-8 at halftime. It was awful. Okay, our defensive player of the week is Ian Tuggle from Curry. 11 tackles. He also had a tackle for loss, a forced fumble recovery, returned 35 yards for a touchdown. Now, this was against Vina.
It was against Vina, who is, I said it before, I'll say it again, they're probably the worst team in the state.
Could Talladega County Central beat Vina?
No.
No, you don't think so? Wow.
No, because neither of them would show up. I mean, it's just... For one, they probably wouldn't make it because it's about 3 hours apart. But I'm being sarcastic there. I think Talladega County Central could pull that one off.
It is a shame.
But it would be close.
They need to play.
I would love to see that game.
Yeah, they need
It'd
to
be
play.
6-0 final probably.
And I do give Curry credit for picking up. These kids needed a win.
They did.
They really did before this year started.
And I mean, hey, they have a shot to get another one this week.
Yes,
they have
a great chance.
That would, getting 3 wins after no wins for 3 full years. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, these seniors, I talked to Tuggle today, 4 years. I mean, he was in 8th grade last time they won a game.
Oh, gosh.
So,
my age.
Yeah, I'm glad they got 2 wins this year. Okay, so we kind of talked about some of these, but jump into last week's games. What stood out to you?
Really, the Oakman loss to Winterboro. That's what really stood out to me because Oakman, they'd had multiple consecutive wins, had 3, right? 3 wins in a row. And, this was the last easy game they had, so we thought. And it was just a bunch of tough teams. They lost. I don't see how that happened. Maybe it's just a long road trip. I don't know. Maybe they got overconfident. Now they have a bunch of tough games to close out the season. You've got Fayette County, Winfield, Gordo, and Meek.
Yeah, I don't know. If they had lines for high school football games, I don't know if they'd be favored in any of those.
Oh, I would have... I don't think they would either. I think the Meek game would be pretty close just because they're a 3A school. But
I mean, Oakman has a chance.
They do have a chance. It will be an
upset, but they're getting better. He said it was going to be a rebuilding year, and that's kind of true. But Winterboro broke a 77-yard touchdown with like 30 seconds to go. I mean, it was right. They missed tackles, and it was a tough way to lose. But Lynn won again.
They did.
4-1.
Yeah, 4 wins.
Already doubled last year's win total.
Goodness, they were 2-8 last year, and it's hard to believe it's the same Lynn team.
Yeah, Hastings done a great job. He's a good coach.
He is a really good coach.
Yeah, immediately turns them around. So Addison in overtime, that was maybe the game of the week.
It probably was.
Good Hope scored on the last play of the game. No time left to tie it. Got the conversion. Go to overtime. Score. Then Addison scores and gets the 2-point
conversion. You feel bad for Good Hope. I mean, you score on the last play to tie the game. And then you end up losing it in overtime. I mean, it's about like watching LSU and Florida State play in week 1 where they got the extra point blocked at last play.
One of my favorite games of the year.
Oh, it was. That was one of the best games of the year. So this is emotionally draining for both teams and physically draining for both teams because you went the extra period. Addison's got a tough game this week. I don't know who Good Hope's got this week. But Addison, like I said, they have a tough game. It's Meek at Meek in Arley. That's going to be a good game.
Our game of the week.
It is our game of the week.
Now, let's talk about the game you went to, Carbon Hill, Phil Campbell. Is there anything to mention?
Well, Carbon Hill, they didn't score, but their offense looked improved from the first few weeks of the season. They didn't look as good as it did against Decatur Heritage or Oakman, but they were able to move the ball. They turned the ball over. They had turnover on downs. That's something they desperately need to work on if they're going to have a chance against Cordova this week. But they looked improved. Defensively, they looked improved. I mean, they only allowed 28 points against a pretty good Phil Campbell team. So, I mean, Carbon Hill, they're going in the right direction. They have 2 extremely tough games next, and I hate that because they have 2 winnable games afterwards. So they have Gordo, Winfield, then it's Midfield and Tarrant. Midfield and Tarrant, 2 extremely winnable games. Gordo and Winfield, not so much. So are they going to be too exhausted to be able to pull out those 2 games? Right. I don't know.
I wish those 2 games were first.
Yeah.
I wish they had Tarrant in midfield, then those hard 2 games.
Right. They'd be 2-8 to end the season.
That would really help. But, yeah, it's going to be tough after those 2 games. Whew. But, okay, let's talk about our power rankings, our top 5, which probably mirrors each other again
Pretty
this
much,
week.
yeah.
So we both have Lynn at 5, is that correct?
Yeah, we both have Lynn at 5. And last week I was kind of undecided. Was it Dora? Was it Lynn? Lynn, after seeing what they did, granted it was Tarrant, but their offense played well, their defense played well. So they are number 5, and they've got a lot of space between them and the number 6 team.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 6 will be very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But, here I go again. No team in the county. No team in Walker County is in the top 5. That's 2 straight weeks at least. But I have Winston County at 4. Is that what you have?
I have Addison at number 4. And they would be higher, except they lost to Winston County.
They beat Winston County beat them.
Yeah, Winston County beat them. I think it was 27-6 or 37-6 or something like that. But Addison, I think they haven't been as good as your average Addison team. They knocked off a 4A team, so they didn't drop any. Knock off a 4A team in overtime. That's good hope. So they're improved from that week 1, and they are a really good team. I do think they're going to make the playoffs. They're sitting at, I'm looking here, Addison. They must have the week off because they're not on here. Oh, they are. Yeah, they get Meek. I'm sorry. They're 5-1. That 1 loss, Winston County. Other 5 games, they looked extremely good. I mean,
5 in a row.
Yeah, they struggled a little bit against Good Hope last week, but I think that they are a really good team, and it's a shame to have them so low as 4. But
yeah, that's true. Now I have Winston County, and they beat Addison, so they actually could be high. I mean, you could interchange a lot of these.
You could. I mean,
these top 5 are pretty good. At 3, I have Corner. Is that what you got?
At 3, I have Winston County. So I don't think we're going to have anybody the same except number 1. It's just a toss-up. But Winston County, they've looked impressive. Their loss to Solgent was a bit of a head-scratcher for a team that's looked that good. But they're still sticking at number 3. Who you got at number 2?
Addison. Right. So, as I told you before, I kind of wanted to set up this 1-2 matchup. I mean, since they play this week. But Addison, 5 wins in a row. You got to think they only got 4 games left. They're the only team around here that's played 6.
True. They have played 6.
Got back into the schedule. But who do you have at 2?
Number 2, I have Corner, who you had at 3 under Addison. Mm-hmm. But Corner, they're undefeated. They've looked really good. This week, they have Northside. That's going to be a tough game. Northside's not as good as they have been, granted, but I am really looking forward to seeing that game.
Yeah, that'll be. I got to see Corner last week on a Thursday at Tarrant, playing Fultondale at Tarrant, which is weird. But it was they look really good. But that was Fultondale, which is also winless. Number 1 for both of us.
Meek. Yeah,
well, we're off this week, but yeah.
Yeah, they had the week off, so that's just one more team in the state that they don't get to beat, unfortunately for them. Meek, they're 5-0. They have not looked bad in any game. They have looked excellent. Impeccable, maybe not impeccable, but they're pretty darn close.
Yeah. Now, they jumped up a spot in the rankings. They're above Pickens County. No, number 8.
Okay, so they're number 8.
Pickens got beat by Gordo. I mean, somebody really good.
Yeah, I think it was Gordo. I mean,
yeah, that's a
Pickens
tough schedule.
County, you don't need to schedule Gordo if you want to be.
They're non-region so far as Aliceville and Gordo, and they lost both of them. That's tough for 1A.
That's really tough.
So, yeah, we both have Meek, and they have a big game this week. Let's jump into next week's games, and at the top of that list is Addison at Meek.
That is going to be one excellent game. But Meek,
get there early.
Oh, yes, get there early. It's going to be packed in early. This was supposed to be the big game of the year preseason, and it has not disappointed. I kind of saw – I would have liked to see Addison undefeated in this. Yeah, that would have made it a bigger game. But right now, I am really looking forward to this. But as far as picks, make sure I get the side right. Yeah, I got Meek in this one.
Yeah, we both do. Yeah. It's hard to pick against Meek right now. You know what they're going to do? They're going to run.
They are. They got Cam Deaver, and it's just they're going to run down your throat, and you have to stop them. And so far, nobody has.
It's unbelievable that they can do this. They even had a game, Colbert Heights, where they fumbled 4 times and still won the game.
They still won the game.
Now, I don't know if they can do that and beat Addison, but if they don't make a lot of mistakes, I would. I'm thinking Meek.
Yeah.
And they haven't played in a while either. This is a huge game.
Yeah, you'd think 2 games that close together would play every year, but
yeah. All right, our next game is Northside at Corner. It's another game. Both really these games could decide the region championship. Really but I'm taking Northside.
Oh.
It's bad. I've already picked against Corner a lot.
Yeah, you have.
So
you haven't
continue
been
that.
very faithful in our Yellow
I
Jackets.
picked Hamilton, which hasn't won a game all year, to beat them.
Yeah.
I picked Dora to beat them. So
I can see you picking Dora to beat them because that was the
That
game.
was- that's
that
still-
was the kind of game Dora would have won.
yeah, that surprises me still.
But quit hashing out over ancient history. Right now we have Corner North Side. I'm going to disagree with you, Johnathan. I have Corner
stick with
winning
Corner.
this. Yeah, North Side, they haven't looked too impressive this year. They are a good team, but they are not the North Side we are used to seeing make the playoffs every year and get 3 or 4 rounds into it.
Yeah, and Corner has their guys. I mean, you
They
know
do.
who's
They're
going to run
really
it.
good.
It's going to be Gavin Brown. He's going to run all over the place.
And, I mean, it's hard to stop him.
Yeah,
even
you
if
stop him,
you know
you
exactly
might win.
what's coming.
Their Peterson is their quarterback. He can beat you too. So the next game, Pickens County at Lynn.
Another really good game that I'm looking forward to. This is a good
It's
slate
good
of
to see
games.
Lynn back where they're
Oh,
supposed
yeah.
to be.
I
They were
remember-
really good this
Yeah,
year.
I remember it might have been 4 or 5 years ago. They were undefeated, ranked in the state and in the playoffs, 3 rounds deep before they ended up losing.
That's right, man. Now I took Pickens. I'm going against all our local teams here.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm not going to get on to you very bad because I went Pickens County too. Don't tell Lynn I said that.
Yeah.
But Pickens County, 2 words that sum them up perfectly are Pickens and County
Mhm.
because they are historically great.
Athletes everywhere.
I mean, amazing, and they're 1A. They're, like you said, they're ranked 9th. They dropped a spot to Meek.
yeah, that's tough.
I think they're going to rebound against Lynn, but I think Lynn's going to be able to keep it close. It's a home game, and I think they're going to be fired up. Though I just don't think they'll be able to get it done.
Yeah. Now Lynn is actually getting consideration in the poll if they win this
They
game.
are, yeah.
might
If they
jump
win
in.
this,
I
they
bet
would
they go
be
in.
number 10.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And you got to think the only team we've had ranked all year is Meek. It's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
I'm
you know.
surprised Corner's not ranked by now. The way
They can get some attention. You beat Northside.
yes.
They're also ranked. Northside's ranked pretty high, I think.
Okay, well, yeah, you win that, you're definitely in the polls.
So, okay, we jump into our county games here. Walker County, 99th meeting between Dora and Cordova. Both kind of disappointing, 2 and 3. Somebody can really help their playoff chances up with this game.
But no matter if these teams were 0-5 right now, it would still feel like it was a playoff game because when these two teams meet, there's a lot of intensity. 99th meeting. Well, next year's going to make 100 if we should get there. Well, after 2020, I'm not going to make any guarantees. But I'm assuming you have Dora in this, knowing how you've picked.
Yeah, they've messed me up this year on the picks. But, yeah, I'm taking Dora again. In the pit. Last year, Cordova beat them over there.
Yeah.
It was Chavis Williams' first game.
It was his first
It's a
game.
great game.
Oh, yeah, it was on a Saturday, wasn't it?
First play of the game, Dora scored a touchdown. And then that was pretty much
They
it.
scored a touchdown after that. They
Yeah, and
lost
that was it.
20-13. I'm going to disagree with you again. I have Cordova winning this. I just think home field advantage is going to win it for the Blue Devils.
2 years in a row at Cordova. That's really
Yeah,
strange.
that's weird. But next year's going to be at Dora, so
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
getting some normalcy back into the way it goes back and forth.
the pit is a different kind of place.
It
Cordova, I'm telling
is.
you.
I mean, it's like Jordan Hare Stadium where things go crazy.
And Daniel Hedrick, Cody, that is Daniel, but Cody Hedrick, having him is a huge boost.
Oh, yes. He's a
And-
really
yeah.
good player.
Oh, he's had a great year. It's our player of the week last week.
He's
Okay.
always been good. I mean, it's like he's been there forever, and he's always been starting, and he's always been playing excellent football.
And I think it really helped having last year in
yeah.
5A, and you come down to 4A. They still haven't got a win. They can hang their hat on this one. They're 2 and 3,
yeah.
but they've been so close.
They have, and they've had tough opponents, too.
It's been a tough schedule. Yeah, definitely. Now, some other games this week. Oakman's at Fayette. Do we need to pick? Oakman 3 and 3. Fayette's back to being Fayette again.
Yeah, they are the Fayette that we've seen knock off Cordova when Cordova was making all the state titles. Fayette County, the one that made 2 state championships in, I think, 3 years. This is the Fayette team that, if they're not ranked already, they should be. I saw them play in person against Carbon Hill. They were up 32-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Bad.
And I think, looking at all the teams in our county, unless it was Corner, I think they could beat every one of them. They are that good. So I just got Fayette County winning this one. I think Oakman's going to keep it close for the first quarter and a half, maybe. But then after that is too much Tigers.
Yeah, that's a tough game for Oakman. Gordo at Carbon Hill. You going to be at that one?
Yeah,
Thursday night?
That's going to be pretty rough. And Gordo is back. They're back to being what they are always. Just juggernaut. Kind of enjoyed it when Carbon Hill had 2 years off from playing them.
I think they did too.
Yeah, and Gordo was up in 4A. Now they're back down to 3A.
Ooh, that's tough. Really.
That's going to be a rough game. But Carbon Hill, avoid injuries. You have Winfield next week. Carbon Hill plays better against Winfield than they usually do other teams. So, I mean, there's a chance for an upset there. Then you've got midfield Tarrant and Oak Grove to close out the season. And interesting fact, Carbon Hill, they have to win out in the region to make the playoffs. I mean, if they want to make the playoffs. So they have to start here against Gordo. They would have to beat Gordo if they want to keep on tracks to make the playoffs. Just don't see it happening, though. Here's
a big game. Hayden at Jasper, another game.
That's a really big game. Yeah,
region ramifications here.
It is. And you look, they have their combined record 6-6. Hayden's 3-2. Jasper's 2-3. But I remember you said earlier in the season, I won't pick Jasper till they show me something. Well, they have shown us all we need to see.
2 in a row.
Oh, yeah, I'm picking Jasper. It's at home. You've won, like you said, 2 in a row. I've got Jasper with no doubts.
Homecoming. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm taking Jasper. But, I do need to mention 3 of these games are Thursday. Pickens County Lynn, Carbon Hill at Gordo at Carbon Hill, and Oakman at Fayette. So
yeah, they moved it.
So far 3 games.
I don't think any more are going to go to Thursday.
I think that'll be the 3.
Yeah.
All right. So Hamilton at Curry. Could Curry go 3-3?
Curry could be 3-3. I just think you had the emotional win against Vienna. You gave it your all. Now you get Hamilton. Hamilton's on a 15-game losing streak, or maybe more. 15 or 16 games. I think Hamilton's going to break that streak against Curry, though. I think it's just too much to ask of Curry. This is their first year winning a game since I was 9 years old. It's too much to ask to reel off 2 back-to-back, but I would not be surprised if they won.
Yeah, it's homecoming for Curry also.
It is. Yeah, there's a lot of homecoming this week.
But, yeah, I've never seen Hamilton this bad. I bet they haven't been 0-5 in a very, very long time.
I bet that it hadn't happened in my lifetime.
So, Sumiton Christian at South Lamar. It's a big game for Sumiton Christian. They really need this one.
Looking over these games, every game I could see going either way except Fayette County and Gordo playing Oakman and Carbon Hill respectively. This is another, like you said, really good game. I don't know. I'm not sure who's going to win this game, but I'm going with South Lamar. It's a fairly long drive for Sumiton Christian's boys. And home field advantage, I think, is going to be something for the Stallions, but also they're a pretty good team. 3-3 don't show that, but they are decent. So I've got South Lamar winning this.
I really don't like South Lamar's color scheme. That ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, ketchup and mustard just it goes well on a hamburger or a hot dog, but not on a uniform.
No, but I'm taking South Lamar Stallions you were talking about. Okay, Cold Springs at Winston County is our last game.
Yeah,
Winston County can't slip up here.
They can't. This is the kind of game that. If Winston County plays their average Winston County game, they're going to win with no problems. But if they happen to choke or if they happen to have an off day, Cold Springs could pull an upset. They are 3-3, and they have not won 3 games in a season in a long time. This is a historically bad program. Cold Springs, they're a good team. Do I see them going into Double Springs and getting a win? No, I don't.
No. Cold Springs, they went 10 last year.
Yeah, they were, and they were 1-9 the year before that.
So this coach did a great job.
He is.
All right, so let's jump into college. Talk a little Alabama and Auburn. I don't know how much we can say about Alabama. That you were at the Vanderbilt game.
Oh, yeah,
I was there.
You were there for the first half
for a little while. Yeah, I was out of hand already. But big game for Alabama this week.
It is, and I really thought Arkansas was going to beat Texas A&M. Stupid tall goalposts and laddering the ball on a fumble.
There was some crazy. It took everything they had to lose that game. Arkansas.
They tried hard to lose it, and they're going to try hard to beat Alabama. Teams always play their best against Alabama. I don't know why. In stark contrast to your team, who's always lucky. Field goal kickers against Alabama. This is one stat I came across. They have missed, since the start of the 2021 season, 1 kick, and it was blocked against Alabama. So everybody plays their best against Alabama, it feels like.
At least the kickers do, yeah.
Yeah, the kickers do. The one
comes down to a kick.
Yeah, the one blocked, they wouldn't officially call it blocked, but I could tell it was against Texas. That missed one.
Oh, yeah. They acted like it wasn't blocked.
Yeah,
they never mentioned. They didn't mention
it. They didn't mention it.
Boy, that was a poorly called game. I like Gus Johnson. That was.
He's
terrible.
a really good announcer. He's the announcer for my NFL PlayStation game, and he's excellent. He brings so much excitement.
I think he's good at basketball. NCAA basketball.
Yeah, he's good at basketball. So you were gonna ask me what are Arkansas's chances? I'm sure. Well, they have 2 chances. It's slim and none. Arkansas. It's a home game, yes. So they might play good. They will play their best, but I just don't see it. I think Alabama's clicking on every cylinder. You saw them. They struggled against Texas, but I think that's all behind them. Alabama, they always have matched up well against Arkansas. Arkansas, with the exception for last year where it was a touchdown game, but that was fake punts, and Arkansas threw everything they had. The last time it was really close was a 1-point Alabama victory in 2014.
It's been a while.
Yeah, where Arkansas, I think they missed an extra point in the fourth quarter where it lost. I just don't see Arkansas winning this.
No, I would say Alabama pretty big on that one.
Oh, yeah.
So Auburn has LSU this week. What do you think their odds are this week?
This week, I would say they have a better chance than most think.
Not slim and none?
Not slim and none. Their odds of making a bowl game. Now, that's interesting because Auburn...
That's long, I think.
Yeah, they're pretty long. You've got... so how many wins has Auburn got already? 3. Okay.
You got to win this one.
Yeah, if you win this one, you're at 4. You're definitely going to beat Western Kentucky unless, yeah, maybe not.
Can they beat a Mississippi school? Arkansas, A&M.
I think they could beat A&M depending on where it's played.
That's going to be it's a long shot.
Yeah.
How many more weeks before Harsin is let go? Or is he? Is he going to make it through the season?
That's a good question. I mean, it depends on who they lose to, because if he loses a conference game ugly, he's gone the next day.
They won a conference game ugly.
They did.
They didn't really win.
They
win.
That
was more of a loss.
That was wrapped up in a
Missouri
pretty bow and package, and Missouri handed it to them. I mean, you're running towards the goal line. Oh, that made me so mad. All right, so you miss a 26-yard field goal, then you fumble the ball for no reason.
He had not missed a field goal inside 30 yards in his career. He walked up to it like he was going to make it.
The luckiest team in America.
It was unbelievable.
Auburn
had so little to do with those plays. It was all Missouri making mistakes.
Yeah, I think Missouri versus Missouri would be a good game.
Yes, it'd be a terrible, ugly game. But, that's pretty bad that was at Auburn, and you almost lost to one of the worst teams in the SEC.
Probably the worst team in the SEC.
So Auburn is at least not worst.
They are
the SEC.
not.
They cannot finish as the worst team, probably.
Worst team in the SEC West.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right now.
Yeah. Right now.
Unless they beat LSU, which a lot of things are going to have to change.
Well, Auburn always matches up well against LSU. We saw them last year. It was just crazy last year.
2 in a row against them.
Yeah, they have. So we never know.
Brian Kelly factor we'll see this week.
Yeah, Brian Kelly, he should have stayed at Notre Dame.
Probably. Yeah, looking back.
Because his conference schedule at Notre Dame wasn't that hard, was it?
No, well, ACC.
Yeah, you had one season in the ACC, and you won the regular season championship in the ACC. It took double overtime with Clemson's quarterback out with COVID, but you still won the... Oh, that was excellent. Yeah. But you still won... You lose the conference championship game ugly, you still make the playoffs. Freakish year. 2020 doesn't count.
Nope. And this year won't count for Auburn. Hopefully.
Yeah, 2020 shouldn't count for anyone but Alabama just because I like number 18.
Okay, so let's jump into Zach's picks this week.
Yeah,
How many you got on the board?
Let's see. I have 6 games. More than 4 last week. One of them, I put it on just because it's conference and also because Georgia struggled last week. It's Georgia at Missouri.
Weird.
Georgia's a 4-touchdown favorite. It's on the road. It's in Como, though. So what do you think?
It lines to. I'd say, by 32, something like that.
I've got Georgia winning by 20. They did not impress me in the least against
I'm just thinking
State.
they were sleepwalking through. It's hard to get up for Kent State.
That's
Isn't that
true.
where Saban went to school?
That's where Saban. Yeah, he was the defensive back at Kent State.
Hard to believe, but
back in the 50s. I mean, it's been a while. Man, I'll say 50s. I'm joking. It was the 1970s. All right, I have Georgia. I don't think they're going to cover 28 points.
I do think they will.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
All right, next game. Maybe interesting, maybe not. It's Texas A&M on the road in Starkville taking on Mississippi State. Mississippi State, 4-point favorite.
I don't understand it. It's kind of like the LSU game. Remember, Mississippi State was favored. I did not understand that, and they got hammered. And I don't understand this. And, I mean, A&M is not great.
No, they are. This is one of them.
And their great receiver is out.
Yeah, he's out.
So it's gonna be tough. I'm taking A&M.
I'm gonna take Mississippi State because it's at home. It is in Starkville. I've been to Starkville.
I don't like the bells.
I don't like cowbells either. But
a headache.
Fortunately, we were sitting far enough away that it was just a rumble in the distance. I've got Mississippi State by a field goal.
Wow.
So I don't have any faith in Texas A&M after seeing them lose to App State.
And they should
have lost to Arkansas.
They should have lost.
That was a pretty poorly played game for A&M for them to still make it out with a win.
I mean, you got to look. Arkansas was going in for a 21-0 lead. I mean, it changes the whole game. And then they end up giving up the touchdown and lose by 2. Just terrible.
Missed the field goal. Oh, man. All right. Next game is a sneaky, interesting game. Ole Miss, they're hosting Kentucky this week. It's
Top 10 Kentucky.
Top 10 Kentucky. They haven't looked like a top 10 team. They really haven't played anybody. Florida, we thought when they played Florida, maybe they were playing somebody.
Yep, they weren't.
Absolutely not. Florida's not a very good team. Hey, Florida's going to win this week. They get Eastern Washington.
And that game has been moved.
When?
Today it was moved. Yeah.
Oh, my.
To Sunday.
To Sunday. That's interesting. Hurricane, of course.
Hurricane related. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hurricanes, they seem to mess up football season a lot.
But who are you taking in that game?
Oh, I've got Florida beating Eastern Washington.
No,
but I know.
Kentucky.
You mean Kentucky. I've got Ole Miss by 4. They're 6.5-point favorites. I don't think they'll cover. Ole Miss, this is not the Ole Miss team that was last year or 2020. But I still think this is a good enough Ole Miss team.
Yeah, I would take Ole Miss as well.
Oh, yeah. Next, we're going to step out of the SEC for a minute. It's where College Game Day is going to be this week. A very good game. Top 10 matchup. It's number 10 North Carolina State traveling into Death Valley to take on the Clemson Tigers, who's ranked 5th. Clemson's a 6.5-point favorite. What do you think about that?
Are you going to get against Clemson like you did last week? That cost you in overtime last week.
That cost me in double overtime, 51-45.
That was a great game. But
that was wonderful.
I guess I would take Clemson, but I don't know. I mean, NC State is pretty good this year. Yeah, this is supposed to be their year. We'll find out if they can actually do this.
I don't have the guts to pick against Clemson again. I've got Clemson winning close, though.
It's going to be close.
Field goal or 1 point or something. It's going to be an excellent game. So our next game is going to be one you have a lot of interest in. It's LSU and Auburn playing. LSU, 8.5-point favorite. Wow. It was at 9 the other day, but it's gone down 0.5 point. I think it's going to be close early, but I just don't see Auburn pulling it out.
Can they score? I mean, they had an interesting stat. The Auburn in the last 6 games, 6 Power 5 games, has not converted a first down in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And has scored 14 points in those 6 games.
Yeah, I also saw where Brian Harsin has a losing record against FBS opponents. He's 7-8. He's 9-8 all. His record at Auburn is 9-8, and 2 of those are FCS teams.
Yeah, so, but I would take. Somebody asked me, "Hey, are you not going to the LSU game?" Like, are you kidding? No,
Yeah,
I'll be mowing the grass or something constructive.
Yeah,
I'm an Auburn fan. I want them to win, but I get easily aggravated and will start mowing the grass, even if it doesn't need it. So Georgia State last year.
Yeah. Okay. So you were the one with very shallow grass.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to have to take LSU. I was deliberating because this is the kind of game Auburn always wins, but looking at statistics,
it's awful.
Auburn, they have outscored their opponents this year 23-21. And you have an FCS, you have FCS teams in that. You have terrible Power 5 or Group of 5 teams. Auburn is a mess this year, and I was going to say I hope, but I really don't. But they need to get it straightened out for your sake, for your grass's sake, and your lawnmower's sake, because it's all taking a beating. Auburn does need to get it straightened out.
Yeah, I just don't. I can't pick them until I see something.
No.
I mean, I went to the San Jose State game, and I have not been back because I was like, well, I've seen this. I mean, it's hard to watch.
I'm sure
it is. When you punt every single time in the second half, both teams, they punted every time, and both were stopped on downs once. Yeah, against Missouri, which is not a very good team.
Yeah, Missouri and Auburn, I don't think they scored a point in the second half. Counting overtime, they was a field goal after halftime.
Yep, and Auburn got 2 chances on that.
They did. Oh, that's ridiculous. My last game is a sneaky good one as well. It's Alabama, 17-point favorites over the Razorbacks of Arkansas, who have been so magnificently turned around by Sam Pittman. Do you think Arkansas has a sliver of a hope here?
Well, who would have thought Texas had a chance?
That's
do you remember the line from the Texas game? It's probably something similar to that.
It's probably 20.5 or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just I'm saying that was a fluke. I'm going to count it happened once. I'm going to count it as a fluke until it happens again.
Yeah, because Arkansas's fan base is not too terribly rabid. Texas has it. I mean, you see teams that Alabama struggles against on the road, with the exception of Mississippi State, who Alabama. They haven't looked bad on the road there since 2017. It's all rabid fan bases. Arkansas fans are not that loud. They're just not. It's just not the SEC primetime matchup you'd think it would be. I can't see Arkansas pulling this one out. I've got Alabama by 24.
Yeah, I do too. I think Alabama will handle them pretty easy.
Yeah, it should be a steamroller. Yeah. That's all I got, Jonathan.
So that's it for Zach's picks this week?
Yeah, that's it for Zach's picks this week.
All right, that wraps up our show this week. For Johnathan Bentley, Zach McCullar, you've been watching the PrepZone Show 2022 presented by Bevill State. See you next week.